So guys, £50. Imagine I said to you, hey, I've got £50 for you, here you go. What would be the first thing that comes to mind? Let's be honest, I'd love to know in the comments. Are you thinking to yourself, yeah, that could probably do a big part of my weekly shopping? Or perhaps you're thinking to yourself, yeah, things are starting to open up and I could spend that money at a really nice or decent restaurant. Or perhaps you're thinking to yourself, I can't wait to go on my summer holiday, £50 to go, some way towards adding to my pot for my holiday budget. Today I want to speak to you about how to think about money. More specifically, I want to speak to you about the real cost of spending money versus actually investing money. You see, I'm not here to tell you that you can't spend your money. Of course, everybody spends money. But I think I'd love for you to walk away from with today's video is to understand the core implications of actually spending money. Spend a moment and go on Google and just type in celebrities who went broke. You would be amazed at how many articles are out there actually showing you some of the people who we consider to be really successful, but people who through their careers have made hundreds of millions of dollars and pounds, but eventually became overburdened by debt and eventually became bankrupt. And the reason for this is because those people who we consider to be really successful did not learn how to think about money. The same goes for a lot of other people, whether it's footballers, sports stars, other professionals who are high earning, even normal people day to day, people watching this video right now. Money seems to flow into people's lives and then flow straight back out again. What I hope to achieve by making today's video is for us to have a gradual mindset shift. Rather than asking ourselves, what can my money buy me? Instead, we should be asking ourselves, what can my money earn me? Once you start to think about money from this very perspective, you will notice three things whenever you try to spend money. You notice that number one, of course, the money itself disappears when you spend it. Secondly, the money that money should have earned also disappears. And thirdly, the money that return originally should have generated also disappears by you spending money. In short, the money that you and I spend today, it's not really just about the monetary value just by itself. It's also about the foregone potential that money could have generated in the future as well. If you're really enjoying today's video, hey, hit the subscribe button and please support us here on our channel as we grow and help so many more people. I'd love for you also to hit the like button because that just helps the algorithms to promote this video to so many more people. Don't forget also to share this video with one other person, maybe on WhatsApp or wherever else you might be speaking to your friends ordinarily. Okay, so let's get practical and let me illustrate this very point using some examples. Imagine that you're buying a car. Okay, maybe not a car that looks like that, but imagine you're buying a really nice car. And you'd saved up, you've got your money put away, and that car it's going to cost you £20,000. You think to yourself, well, I should really treat myself. I've been working really hard for years. I think I can really put this money away. I think I can afford it. I can use my savings, and I'm going to go and put it down as a deposit and buy my car at £20,000. Now, in your mind, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, it's 20 grand. I can live with that for a few years. Imagine you're buying that car and you're going to hang on to it for 10 years. You say to yourself, yeah, it's £20,000 over a 10-year period. Now, given I've given you the introduction on this video and told you that the real cost of buying anything is usually beyond what we usually think about it. The truth is that £20,000 you're about to spend on that car, as an example, and that could be any other expense, by the way, but I'm just using a car because, you and I can relate to a car very easily. That 20 grand is actually a lot more than that. You see, in order to really work out the real cost of spending that money, that £20,000, it's very important for us to consider a hidden cost that most people ignore, known as the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is essentially the cost of the foregone alternative, i.e., what could you have achieved with that money how do you put that money into something else tied to earning rather than something tied to you spending and that money losing value over time. So let me illustrate using this car example. All right, so imagine you've got your car there. You saying to yourself, yep, I've gone and bought that car. To work out the real cost of what that actually looks like for you for the future, imagine you're going to hang on to that car for 10 years. What's it really cost you? £20,000, of course, leaves the door and it's gone forever. That's disappeared. But in order to work out the true cost, the opportunity cost, we need to compare that £20,000 expenditure to something else, something tangible, like you, for example, investing your money through the stock market. So I'm going to pick the S&P 500 as an index, and I'm going to pick a return of about 8%, which is around the average return that this particular index has returned over the last 100 years. And imagine you had that money invested in that particular index for those 10 years into the future, at the same time period that you'd actually own this particular car. 8% of that will give you £1,600. So you'd be returning £1,600 per year is what you'd be getting by having your money invested instead. And over 10 years, that times 10 is £16,000, all right? Which is interesting when you think about it. And this is us just looking at things per year, because when you think about the cost of something, you never think, oh, it's costing me something every year. That 20 grand at 8% is generating 1,600 per year. Over 10 years is £16,000. At 16,000 to 20,000, you get £36,000. So you're thinking, oh my God, is it really costing me £36,000? That's what the true cost of actually spending that 20K on a car is actually costing me. Now you're thinking, yep, that sounds like a lot of money. And of course it is. It's a very expensive car by that indication. But hang on, that's not the end of it, because what we haven't factored in is what that £1,600 per year is also doing. Because when you invest your money through the stock market, it generates its own return. And guess what? Thanks to the power of compounding, that return, each of those returns then go ahead and generate their own returns as well. So when I factor that into this calculation, that 20 grand at 8% compounding over that 10-year period, that decade, is not actually £36,000. In fact, it is £42,902. Wow. I mean, that is mind-blowing when you think about it, because what that's really saying to us is that if you took your money, your savings or whatever, and you took that 20 grand and went and bought a car with it, had you invested that money at 20 grand at 8% average returns, okay, these are just illustrations, you would have ended up over that decade with £42,902. So when you think about that money, the minute you're spending that 20 grand on a car, as an example, and that could be anything else, could be a really expensive holiday, it could be going to the Bahamas or to Barbados or wherever you want to get to, that 20 grand expenditure is truly costing you £42,902. And so what you're foregoing is not only are you losing that £20,000 straight away, but you're also losing £22,902, which is that, take away that number. That's the foregone alternative. That's the opportunity cost of that money being spent on something else, a wasting asset like a car, for example, instead of it being invested and earning something, putting that money to work in an environment such as this stock market. Now, what am I really saying to you today? What you choose to do with your money matters. Whether you choose to spend that money, and if you choose to spend it, it has a much bigger cost than you might actually think about ordinarily. Choosing to make your money work for you instead helps you achieve goals such as you aiming for financial independence if it's something that you consider to be a desirable goal. Doing that and having your money work for you and compounding in the right environment ensures that the compounding effect of your money is actually greater than the opportunity cost of what you might spend from your money. If you're someone who's still working towards financial independence, seeing your money through these lens of the opportunity cost really helps you better understand money and make it work harder for you. In effect, helping you accelerate that journey towards financial independence. And if you are somebody who has already achieved financial independence, having the knowledge of how to think about money means that you will keep reinvesting money and reinvesting the gains that you generate from your money working for you, and provided that it's generating a return that far exceeds inflation and that your spending is a lot lower than the rate at which your money is growing, you will in effect be in a win-win situation. In summary, the next time you feel that itch to want to spend money, simply ask yourself, what could my money be earning me, instead of what could my money buy me? Okay guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed this perspective on how to really think about your money and understanding the real cost, what it really costs you when you spend your money. That illustration that I made applies to any amount of money, whether it's £20,000, whether it's £1,000, or whether it's £1. The same idea still applies. Check out to the left the video we made recently illustrating the rule of 72 and the power of compounding interest. This is such an important thing to understand and an important mindset shift as you progress on your journey towards building wealth and working towards financial independence. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What aspect of today's video really resonated for you? I know we all have to spend money, of course, but I'd be really interested in your thoughts on this particular matter. Do you spend most of your time thinking, I wonder what I could buy with my money, rather than, I wonder what I could earn with that money? Let's be honest, jump in the comments and let's talk about it. And I'd be more than happy to share more of my perspectives on how I deal with this on a personal level. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. And as ever, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care and see you on our next video. Bye for now.